Did you want to talk about your trolley problem with Chewie?
Oh, the trolley problem.
I'd love to know what this
Yes.
is all about. I saw a headline or two, and I wanted to understand what the trolley
I
problem
think
was. In the
I
meantime,
think I
here is
have
Cat.
that.
Demos. Demos.
Where is Cat?
Artemis.
You promised Cat.
Artemis. Hi, buddy.
Oh, there it is. Yawning Cat.
Hello.
Okay. So my trolley problem. Well, that's the wrong sized window, isn't it? I saw this story. No, Pat gets enraged. I can feel him getting enraged. Is that better? That's better. Party Māori MP appalled by police's Operation Trolley in Rotorua. So, long story short, police did a 3-day operation called Operation Trolley. They went through Rotorua, gathering up shopping trolleys taken from supermarkets and being used by the homeless. Police arrested 13 people and confiscated 45 shopping trolleys from the homeless and returned them to their businesses at the end of the 3-day operation. Rawiri Waititi is appalled by the police operation, saying the act demonstrates that it is cheaper to criminalise than care about the people of Aotearoa living in poverty, and it is a clear attack on the impoverished whānau in Rotorua. The reality is that our whānau are homeless and struggling, so why are they being arrested? Simply trying to survive on the street. Waititi points out that the trolleys are often a substitute for support, stability, security of belongings for the homeless, things that can be addressed through affordable housing, affordable healthcare, affordable cost of living, solutions that lie in the hands of this government. Local retailers have already acknowledged that the criminalisation of our homeless whānau won't stop them from taking trolleys. So if the government solutions are at the expense of the homeless and fail to solve the issue for retailers, then are they really fixing problems or causing them in my electorate? Police identified several people using retail store-owned shopping trolleys for personal use without lawful authority. 7 people were arrested for being in possession of items worth less than $500, and another 6 were arrested for historical offences, including theft, assault, arrest warrants, bail breaches, and trespasses. They also issued 19 trespass notices to individuals from the area around the trolley's respective store. So there we go. This is our tough on crime government. Obviously, police have been instructed to do a bit of house cleaning in Rotorua, and they have come in with a bat to beat the symptom and not the cure. Now, workmate of mine and I kind of got into a little bit about this today. Obviously, we work in a shop. Retail crime is a thing. In fact, our shop got broken into 2 weeks ago. So it's pretty fresh in our mind. The property belongs to the supermarket. They have technically stolen something. So surely the police are right here to collect the property and return it to the supermarket. Or, alternatively, was there a better way than a 3-day named police operation involving God knows how many staff to get shopping trolleys back? Doesn't feel good.
A lot of police time and money, isn't it? Spent on
that is a lot of police time and money. That is also I noticed the complete lack of mention of any other social support entities. Like a joint operation would be good. Hey, we've got to give this trolley back to the supermarket, but you need housing. You need help. We can't have you doing this. I point out the fact that Kaingaora has cancelled a whole bunch of housing projects in the Rotorua area. I point out the fact that Rotorua has always had a housing problem that has just been turbocharged by various national governments. COVID certainly didn't help. Emergency housing, a lot of the motels were used for emergency housing. Obviously, that is gone now as well. And it just seems like we've turbocharged this problem. We've put you in this position. You're trying to get through your life as best you can. You take your whatever meager belongings you have, you put it in a trolley, you move around because you can't stay in one place. And now the cops are coming for you and they're issuing fines and trespasses. So you can't go to this place and you can't pay that fine. So where do you have to go from there? It is just meanness from our government. And it is exactly what we saw coming.
Would you like a little comment?
Oh, it's Patthew. Hello, Patthew.
This is Patthew. Hi, Pat.
Hope the travels are going well. We miss you, buddy. Good stickering. Keep up the vandals.
Good riddance. Go away. Go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the things that I was talking about with my colleague, right? I actually don't know if I verbalized this, but I don't like seeing homeless people. That doesn't mean that they should be arrested. I want them to have help. I want them to not be begging on the street because they have enough money for food and to run their heaters and the accommodation that they have. You know, that's how you solve it. That's how you solve the fact that Rotorua's supermarkets were missing, a handful of trolleys. Have you ever been to a supermarket that has run out of trolleys, by the way?
No, never. In fact, there's so many that they're in my car park or floating down the street somewhere.
And look, that isn't an argument. Just because you've got a lot of something, don't feel free to take it. Here in Dunedin, they always have a big trouble with trolleys because of students, right? They don't have cars, that sort of thing. The supermarkets just have a yearly amnesty. Or they put a drone up and they look in people's backyards and then go and knock on the door going, can we take the trolley back, please? Maybe the answer is the supermarket just gives their old trolleys to the homeless. Is that the problem? Is it the theft that is the problem?
Yeah.
Or is the fact that the visible homelessness is the problem? And we just want to criminalize the poor. It feels like we want to criminalize the poor.
How often do they throw out trolleys? Because there's another point. Surely there's a point where they go, this trolley is no longer viable or useful. It looks dingy. Can they not
I've heard,
give them to something or someone?
I've heard trolleys are really expensive as well. Like, I seem to remember like $500 or $600 per trolley being bandied around. But yeah, I mean, that's the good thing. What happens to your ruined trolleys? I would hate to see that. Like, I can imagine fucking foodstuffs going, we at Foodstuffs care about the homeless. We're giving them our shit wobbly wheeled trolleys as a way of helping. That's not what we want from you, Foodstuffs.
Or even if it's like, oh, hey, we got
more
these
to food banks.
We got these trolleys back, but they've been around homeless people, so we'll throw them out because we don't actually want them, and God knows where they've been and what's touched them. Like, come on. If that's the case, then just leave them be.
Yeah.
Taking homeless people, I feel, is like kicking the absolute poorest of the poorest in society.
They're finding them and banning them from supermarkets. It's banning them from places where they could buy food. Like there's a homeless person in Dunedin that I see just waiting by the supermarket for the time that they mark down the stuff in the warmer, the end of day food. And that's the thing. You get a trespass because you had a New World trolley and you can't go back to New World. That's one of your food sources gone. That's the only thing that you can, and can you imagine that these guys would maybe they had trolleys from 2 different supermarkets and now they're trespassed from both of them. Tough luck, I guess. It's not solving the problem. It's treating a symptom and moving the problem somewhere else. I mean, that was one of the things. Do you remember when it was Paula Bennett was paying people to move out of Auckland? That was the start of Rotorua's problem.
Yes.
That they paid homeless people a grant to go somewhere else. A lot of people went to Rotorua, and it's been a problem ever since. But yeah. This operation doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like an effective use of police time when we're concerned about crime, apparently.
Yeah.
This is not the way to solve this problem. They're not going to pay the fines. They're going to keep getting criminalized for being in the wrong part of town or being visible. We're not housing them. That we're not making sure that they're fed. We're not making sure that they're well. That is, I think, when people say that there's no difference, it doesn't matter who's in the government. This is an example of it actually kind of fucking matters. Like putting them in motels is not the solution either.
I
We
found the
need to
article.
build more houses.
Well, that's interesting because $5,000 moving grant laughable without work. Government offered $5,000 to move the likes of Hamilton, Gisborne, and Whanganui. There are more than 2,000 people on the waiting list for urgent state housing in Auckland. This was May 2016. And then if you just look to the right here, 20th of May 2016, no housing crisis in New Zealand, says Paula Bennett.
Ah, remember good times? Those good times when we had no housing crisis? Paula Bennett,
2016, yeah.
John Key, not a problem.
Speaking in a Checkpoint interview tonight, Ms. Bennett said she had been worried about the situation since becoming social housing minister, but did not believe the situation was getting worse. I certainly wouldn't call it a crisis. I think we've always had people in need. So the other night on TV, I heard the homeless story was second in, and then the seventh story was a man who'd been 30 years living on the streets.
Can I just say, what a disgusting person Paula Bennett was and it still is. She's a dreadful, dreadful person. Build more houses. I got a letter.
Yeah.
There we go. This is the letter that I got in my letterbox the other day from Kaingaroa, because they were going to. I've spoken about it on the show several times. There's an old holiday park down on the corner, Kaingaroa bought, and we're going to turn it into social housing. And then it sat empty as homeless people camped in tents in the Dunedin Oval. Somebody died in a tent beside the motorway. It was shocking. People wanted action. People put in official information requests. The mayor thought my idea was a good one. That's why he took it for his own. Anyway, the letter is we're getting in touch with you about the property. Just to let you know, we'll not be progressing with any social housing development on the site and we'll be selling it. Since purchasing the property with the intention to build social housing on the site, we've put in a significant amount of work to produce multiple options and layout plans. However, over the past years, the cost of building homes has risen dramatically. Naturally, that impacts our budgets and it's become clear that it's not viable for us to develop the site to provide social housing. So we've retained a real estate agent and we'll be selling it. We still have people sleeping rough in Dunedin. We still have people in transitional houses and motels, which the Associate Housing Minister Tama Potaka has railed against in the run-up to the election as an absolute failed policy. But it put roofs over people's heads. It made sure that they weren't under canvas or nylon in the middle of winter in Dunedin. We've had people die in boarding houses here, slumlords buying old pubs and basically taking money straight from Ministry of Social Development for people to sleep on a maggoty mattress on the ground. Why are we not building more social housing? Why does that not have a value? Maybe if these people had a place to keep their stuff, they wouldn't have to take trolleys, which is apparently a big enough problem to have 46 police officers in a 3-day operation. How many of these housing developments, like the one down the road from me, have been cancelled in Rotorua? How many have been cancelled, chat, in where you live?